Now it is time for Home Team Help, presented by Lowe's. All right, Lowe's Home Team Help. They're always here to highlight an underrated performance, and for that, we're going to go to the Broncos Colts football game today, which was an interesting one in itself, too.
It was.
You talk about a game, and there's always like a game or two like this every week where you go, wait, one team felt like they were kind of outplaying the other team for a good period of the game, but didn't take advantage of those opportunities and let the other team hang around. All of a sudden you look up and you go, wait, the team that was controlling it and dominating is getting their ass kicked now. What the hell happened? Well, here's how it happened. All right, we'll get into the specifics of the game. But 13-7, Bo Nix just threw an interception. Jonathan Taylor breaks a run off the right tackle, and he is going to go untouched for a 47 or 48-yard touchdown run, and decides to start celebrating a foot or two short and drops the ball, and it becomes a touchback. The Broncos get the ball back, but instead of being up 20-7, it kept it 13-7. The Broncos then got it to 13-10 and slowly started to chip away, and then all of a sudden we were there halfway through the third quarter going, wow, the game's totally flipped and the Broncos are totally controlling it.
Yeah, and especially because early on, as we looked at this Denver defense, I thought back to right away when they played against Baltimore, and you have this running dynamic quarterback, and Anthony Richardson started off running.
They put them in a bind,
game,
definitely.
And they get that touchdown, they go straight down the field, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
Denver better wake up.
Right,
and
right.
Jonathan Taylor, like you said, as he's running in, and you're like, man, like Denver's going to be down 20-7, and they're not out of it. But this is
but
the
they
last
hadn't played well on
be.
offense yet and anything. So you didn't look at it and go, oh, well, they're going to be able to just come back, no problem here.
Exactly.
Right.
And now you're sitting there like, okay, you're going to go down 20-7, and Indy's going to just run Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. They're going to make it hard on you. And to make a play like that, and that irritates, I think all of us, we were in the viewing room earlier, and somebody else did this earlier in the day where they didn't do it on quite Jordan Battle on Cincinnati. He's running with the ball. He kind of switches it.
Right.
He's probably going to hold the ball up.
Yes, and he dropped it. Right.
And you're sitting there, it's just like such a huge play in the game, and you do that, and you see, and I hate this too. Everybody's like, oh, man, it's all right, JT. It's all right. It's not all right.
No.
Like, that was over with. That's it. You have a team where you're playing against a really good defense, an aggressive defense, and we have a chance to have them on their heels. We have a chance to put them on the sideline looking at each other like, what the hell is happening? We don't know why we can't stop them. We're doing everything we can. We're calling different plays, and next thing you know, they're intercepting a trick play and they're scoring. So I just think you got to, in this league, when you have a chance to put your foot on somebody's neck and really bury him, you got to do it.
You got to do it. They're too good. It's the NFL. It's too close. It's too good. You give the team another, second breath, whatever, second chance to fight. They're going to find some rhythm and get it going at some point. It was a sloppy, ugly game, and I actually misspoke there a little bit because 13-7, okay, just to take you through just a little bit of what happened here in chronological order, right? It was Jonathan Taylor drops the ball in the end zone. They do not go down and get a field goal. Nix throws another interception. And then Pittman fumbles the very next play on a little throw over the middle of the field, and then the Broncos got a field goal to make it 13-10, and that's where it never changed and never went back. And I believe it was another interception by Richardson again that gives the short field to the Broncos and basically just opened the floodgates. Broncos they got to play through their defense. They need to run the ball, and then Bo Nix can be timely and aggressive passing down the field. Today, it looked like it was a little too much all on Bo Nix. They couldn't get the run game going, and we've talked about, like with the Colts and the defense and the inventor of the Seattle scheme, Gus Bradley, it's hard to find ways to make big plays on that defense. You have to be patient. You have to be willing. This goes back to even when I was with Josh McDaniels and even talks like when you guys had to play the Seattle Seahawks and stuff like that. You gotta think of a game of like, we're gonna go 20 for 25 for 210 yards today, and hopefully one touchdown and no interceptions, and that's the way to play because they're not going to give you up those big plays. He was sloppy today, made some bad turnovers certainly, but nonetheless, I think that's the way they got to play. When they got to ask him to throw the ball 30-something times and rely on him too much, they don't want to do that. As good as he's been, he's still a rookie, and they're not that talented a receiver to where they're just going to tear up the NFL with their passing game against some of the better defenses in football.
And that's the beauty of the NFL, because you you have Bo Nix, you play against this Cleveland defense who is known to be pretty good, but they play all man-to-man. So every time Bo Nix comes out, he's like, I know what I got.
Yeah.
We're going to run away from leverage. We're going to hit over routes and crossing patterns. Then we're going to take some shots because we can see what they're in. But then I said it even before the game. You're going to play a team that plays mainly zone, and they're going to do some disguise and they're going to do something. So now you got to figure out what zone it is. Where can I fit the ball in? And he tried to make some plays today, and he got intercepted, and it didn't work out. But then another credit goes to, you said it, Denver's defense. Patrick Surtain has been one of the best defensive players in the NFL this year. Week in, week out, covering guys, taking top guys, and they're playing without Riley Moss, who's been a really good number 2 corner, and then obviously Nick Bonitto. Back-to-back pick sixes, making plays like that, and I think that's what Denver decides to do, and that's how they want to play.
Yeah.
You just said it. Let your defense make plays. Let Mims make a big punt return. And I get it. Bo Nix has been taking steps. He's been improving, and he had jumped into that Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year category. I still think it's Jaden Daniels and what he's been able to do.
Agreed.
Like,
I think
he's the guy over there.
Right.
But again, Denver is dangerous. I still think they're a good football team. And again, ugly, but when you find a way to win in the NFL, you walk away and say, we won. Now let's work on these things. And it's a better feeling of making mistakes, falling short in some areas, but you get a win and allows you to keep going
It's the best
forward.
point for the coach to tee off on you a little bit, because it's like, we won, but I can be hard on you because it wasn't good and we have a lot to improve on. And now I can yell at you, but you're still in a good mood because we won, and you'll be able to deal with it better. It's the perfect scenario. You hit on it. The Marvin Mims punt return, he's starting to show up on a weekly basis.
Explosive,
they need him to make big plays. I do think, like, to your point, Denver's a team that is going to be a pain in the playoffs if they do get in, because they'll be able to play defense. Sean Payton will stay patient with the run, and he'll game plan a few specific plays, shots, and that's where his beauty will come in. But either way, Indy was outscored 24-0 in the second half, 4 turnovers, 0 points in the second half by the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson's getting better, but as we've talked about, needs polish. The throwing is just not consistently good enough. Hopefully he can work on that, because they do put you on a bind. The way they run the ball and the way he can chuck 60-yard bombs, you have to worry about pick your poison.
Those guys can run
Exactly.
downs,
But if you can't just be all that. You got to find ways to get some 10-yard completions, some 15-yard completions, and that's where they're a little bit all over the place.
He's going to be interesting, just the same way we talked about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You come in with all of this talent. Every offseason, what are you going to do to get better, to turn into a polished quarterback that can then do everything? He got hurt last year, so he didn't really have a rookie year. This has really been his rookie year.
This is a real rookie year.
And he's gotten better, like you said, throughout this year.
Yeah.
Now it's all about how do you continue to do that going forward.
Yeah, we'll see. 9-5 Broncos, Colts 6-8. Playoff chances are slim to none. As we talked about, the Texans have won the AFC South. That's in the bag. That's all she wrote. Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.